Hi, I'm Carla with Race to Walk, and today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 books that I'm reading for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. But before we get started, a little bit about this channel. Here we share good thoughts about good words, and on Fridays I host a live Bible study at Instagram on Race to Walk, and then I publish 2 videos a week. I'll publish a replay of that Bible study and a video about books. So if you are interested in either of those things, be sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications about updates about new videos. Today is April 1st, and if you weren't aware, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Last year, I did another video like this, 5 books I was reading for Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And last year I did a whole month of videos on books related to this topic. This year I'm not doing a whole month of videos, but what I am doing is I'm hosting a conference in honor of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and that is going to be next Saturday, April 9th, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central, and it's going to be on this channel. It's also going to be on my other social media channels. But it is going to be 4 hours. We're going to have stories of survivors. We're going to have people who can give advice for how we in the church can be not only be a good friend and to people who are going through this and are in their process of healing, but also how we can make our churches safe spaces. And a lot of the people that are going to be speaking next week are people that I've interviewed in the past year on my channel. I'm planning on making this an annual event. And if you go to the website, restoringhopeconference.com, you can see a list of the speakers, what they're going to be speaking on. You can also register for it. It's a free virtual event. If you register, you're going to be getting a little handout and be getting reminders of like what's going on. But I hope you join us next week for this conference. We are going to be having several giveaways. They have some testimonies and some words that you don't want to miss. And so I was thinking today, most of the people who are speaking are authors that I interviewed in the past year. So my thought was, what is it that I want to be reading in this next year to prepare for the 2023 conference? And these are the books that I'm going to be reading. The first book that I'm planning on reading is a testimony by a survivor, and this is a very well-known book, and that is What is a Little Girl Worth by Rachel Denhollander. She is the gymnast that was the first to speak up and expose Larry Nassar, and that was a very publicized crime. She tells her story in the book. So the second book I want to read, actually, there's 2, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to read, but I am going to read at least one book by Diane Langberg. She's one of the leading people speaking out about sexual abuse in the church, and she's written a couple of books on how churches can minister to people who have been through trauma, and also how they can make their church a safe space. And the first one is Suffering and the Heart of God: How Trauma Destroys and Christ Restores. This was a book that she published in 2015. And then the other book, her more recent book, is Redeeming Power: Understanding Authority and Abuse in the Church. That came out in 2020. So if you've read either of those or both and you have an opinion about which one I should make a priority over the other, let me know. The third book that I'm going to read is The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk, and the subtitle is Brain, Mind, and Body in the Healing of Trauma. The Body Keeps Score is quoted by a lot of survivors. I actually have this book. I just haven't read it. So this is going to be on my list for the next year in preparation for the Restoring Hope conference next year. We just published an Unexpected Journal, and the issue is titled Saints and Sanctuaries. My friend Charlotte has an excerpt of her memoir in this, and also we have a really, really excellent essay by a fellow alumni from the apologetics program, and he wrote an essay called Sanctuaries for the Suffering: Trauma and Imagination in Apologetics. Jesse's actually going to be speaking next week at the conference. He and Charlotte also had a segment together in our launch party for this Saints and Sanctuary issues of An Unexpected Journal. So if you want to go and look at that, I'll link to their segment He quotes quite a bit from the Body Keeps Score. Body Keeps Score, that's number 3 that I'm definitely going to read. And then number 4, What is the Little Girl Worth? That's a memoir. And I wanted to find another story by a survivor. But one of the books I found, this isn't another memoir, and it's called After All, A True Story by Maria Troutman. And this I just found in an Amazon search. Did read a little bit of the description, and you know, she had abuse as a child, continuing abuse, and it sounds like she's someone that has learned to, you know, walk away from that trauma, but I haven't read it yet, so we'll see. And the last book, number 5, that I'm going to be reading in this next year is Eichmann in Jerusalem, A Report on the Banality of Evil, and this is by Hannah Arendt. She was a reporter. She wrote this as a series of articles for the New Yorker when she was covering the Eichmann trial in Nuremberg in 1963. I haven't read this book, but I have read a little bit about her experience, and she said that the thing that shocked her most, I think this is right, again, I haven't read the book yet, was that the banality of evil. That it's just everyday people, that these people that did such horrific things, they were just normal people. They were just, you know, you wouldn't consider them monsters. And I think that this may sound like it's a kind of a weird choice for this theme, but I think it is relevant because that's kind of the point, is that we're all capable of evil because we all have a human nature. And just because something works for us or is convenient for us, it may be very, very wrong or harmful for other people. And if we're not willing to put others first, to consider others as better than ourselves, as we are supposed to do as Christians, we can excuse a lot of really horrific things. And that is, I think, the message of the Holocaust that we seem to miss. It wasn't then or them, it's us and now. We're doing the same thing. And we don't have bodies thrown in a pit like they did in the Holocaust, but we have the walking wounded in the church all around us, and we refuse to see it because it makes us uncomfortable. I feel like sometimes some of the reviews I do are kind of heavy, but I don't know, we have a lot of stuff going on, and we need to stop acting like, you know, we're in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory and in the church, and that everything is bubblegums and rainbows, and get real about what's in front of us. Anyway, so these are books I'm planning on reading to prepare for the conference next year. But if you have any suggestions of books to read with memoirs by survivors, just let me know. Again, I'm doing a virtual conference next Saturday, April 9th from 2 to 6 p.m. Hope you can come register for it. If you go to restoringhopeconference.com, there's a place to register, and please share that with your friends. And it's not just for people who have experienced abuse. Anybody who knows somebody that has experienced abuse, you are also affected by it. So basically, as common as it is, that means pretty much anyone. Thanks for watching. Hope you join me next week. I'll see you next time.